We're at 2749 North Poinciana Boulevard, Unit 19. We're going to give a quick overview here that you can use in conjunction with your inspection report. One of the first things that I noticed here is that the siding that you see here and that you'll continue to see in certain sections at the front of the building pertaining to Unit 19 is that some of this siding is masonite. Now, some of the siding has been replaced with concrete fiberboard, which you see at the bottom, but a lot of the masonite is still, it remains, and some of that masonite is showing signs of moisture damage. And in a wood frame structure, you would want to be cognizant of that because it can affect the materials under the siding. Another thing that we noticed is that the main water shutoff valve, which you see in your video here to my left, is missing a handle. Now, the main supply material is PVC, but then it changes to distribution material of polybutylene, and polybutylene is a material that's no longer suitable for use in residential properties. I'm going to send you information on that. Sometimes it's hard to get insurance with that material, and the material has a history of failure, so you'd want to be aware of that. Moving right along, you can also see the same situation here on the exterior. Got an outlet missing a cover there. That's an easy enough fix, but it's there. And looking around, you can actually see that the building seems to be painted and well maintained, but the materials are what's the question mark here. And your water heater is located at the exterior closet. Okay, now it's working right now. Okay, but the thing is that it is 24 years of age, so you're probably going to need to replace that very soon. It's not in bad condition, and it's working, so it's just a question mark as to how long it will continue to work. As I look in here, you got a good shot of the polybutylene pipes. That's these gray pipes here with the copper fittings and the copper bands. All right, so that you have a heads up on what that looks like. Now, entering the unit, there is a distinct mold odor from a lot of moisture that's present in the unit right now. And as you look around, you can see the carpets have been removed. You can see some cracking present here at the foundation. You can see some discoloration at the walls. Could be mold, but really requires air sampling and some additional tests to find out what's going on there. And as you kind of pan around and you look, you actually see that there are some areas that have had some previous water damage here in the living room. Now, as I move around and I go this way towards the kitchen, I'm going to show you this area here. You're probably looking at a complete kitchen and bathroom remodel for this particular unit. The appliances are very old. They probably require replacement. The refrigerator wasn't plugged in when I got here. It seems like it comes on, but I'm not sure that it's cooling well. The range is missing the burners, so we can't check them, but we did check the bake and broil settings. It does work, and the microwave works too, as does the garbage disposal and the dishwasher. But plumbing here, underneath the sink and on top of the sink, you can actually see it's all wet down there. You've got an old fixture here. It leaks when you run it. So that's one of the challenges we have there. And you're missing some cabinet doors. And that's why I say remodel, because if you look at the appliances and the age of the appliances, the condition of everything, it would make sense to pretty much redo everything here. And as you get into the bedrooms, here's where you start to see, you do have a washer and dryer area, just so you know. Everything there seemed functional. But as we went through the areas here, the first bedroom that I come to on my right, this bedroom you can see is missing flooring, just like the majority of the unit is. At the ceiling, you can see that there's been water stains. Now, some of this stuff is showing that it's active, meaning that you currently got some leaking coming from upstairs. And as I come down here and look around, I'm looking at areas where you can see mold here in the corner. And that goes along with that mold odor that I was saying just a moment ago that you smell when you come in. A lot of the moisture damage, I believe, was caused by the air conditioning system. As you walk around, you can see the air handlers located here in the hallway closet. Now, this unit is also 24 years old and probably will need to be replaced. It is not cooling at this time, so the system is not functional. But if we walk around here to the master bedroom closet, you can look at the water damage. This area has been wet for quite a while, all right? So I think that has a lot to do with what you're finding as far as mold and that damp odor. And as you look around here, we go into the left hall bedroom. You can see in the ceiling there's evidence of water damage there or moisture. And in looking around, most of the materials don't look bad. It's just the exposure to the moisture that has us concerned. And naturally, any exposed wiring you would want to have covered up. Now, as we move on into the hall bathroom, just want to give you a heads up on this. This is another situation where we're talking about maybe remodeling to get things back to working again. The sink is starting to show signs of rust. You're missing the pop-up assembly. The toilet wax ring needs to be reset. That thing is loose. You don't have a handle at the fixture in the shower. You got a chip here at the tub. The window isn't working properly. And when you add all these things up, it makes sense to consider redoing the bathroom. As I head into the master bedroom, one of the troubling things that I had here was the crack here. The width of this crack is exceeding 1/8 of an inch, which is outside tolerance. So you'd want someone to look at this. This probably is not a major problem, but you know what? It doesn't make sense to assume that. So what we want to do is make sure that you have someone look at that. Another thing about the master bedroom is that you look around and you can see the water stains here at the ceiling. And as you look around, they did take out a lot of the wall here, and I think that's because they probably had water damage and mold. Now, we went upstairs to check the unit upstairs, but that unit's for sale and it looks like it's vacant as well. So some of these problems that are coming from up there might be something we have to gain access upstairs to see what's going on. Now, I used a moisture meter here to check the moisture, and you could actually see as you look around that this is still wet. As you come down here, if you look here, you can see that's still wet. And coming into the master bathroom now, looking at the floor, you can see that this is wet. And using a moisture meter, obviously, is one way that we can tell if something is wet or dry. And if you look here at the ceiling, you could see that we're dealing with an awful lot of moisture here. This is not something of a small problem. This is a big problem because we're talking about water damage, mold remediation, and things like that. We want to be on top of that because you can't have somebody occupying the dwelling until you get this place cleared. Another byproduct of this moisture is that a lot of the wiring and the components of the electrical are rusted. So these would need to be replaced as well. You'd need to replace switches in some of these outlets. And moving right along into the master shower, again, here you're missing a fixture handle. Probably not the end of the world, but it is one more thing to look at. You need to be aware of. Some of the tiles need to be redone here. The towel bar is missing. And that masonite that I told you about outside, some of the areas are conducive to moisture. So naturally we put a moisture meter here by the window, and sure enough, you've got moisture here, which means that you've got water penetrating here. And what that means is when you put this all together, the major hurdle that we have in this particular unit is not necessarily that the remodel has to happen in the kitchen and the bathrooms and the flooring has to be done and such, but you really need to have mold testing done and have a mold assessor set a protocol for mold remediation. And in order for you to do that, what we're going to need to do is someone's going to need to go upstairs and find out exactly where this water is coming from, just to make sure all sources of moisture have been fixed. And that would include around the windows at the exterior, because anywhere that is allowing moisture to come into the unit is going to be problematic in that respect. And another thing to keep in mind is we don't have a functional climate control system in the property right now. So one of the things that we'll need to do is get an air conditioning system put in, one that works. This building's going to require dehumidifiers and the drying out process to make sure that once the leaks have stopped, the drying has been done. And at that point, and only at that point, can you move forward in taking care of remodeling and making sure that everything is what you want it to be. But right now what we're looking at is the first step is having a mold assessor come in. Once the protocol has been set for mold remediation, I recommend that that gets followed, and then from that point forward, naturally installing flooring after you have the crack evaluated in the master floor, redoing kitchen and bathrooms, obviously a new air conditioning system and so on, water heater probably too. So if you have any questions after you review the report, please give me a call. All right, I'm hoping that this video provided you with some insight as far as what you're looking at here, where the major problem areas are. and helps to assist in with your decision and your process and what you plan in moving forward. All right, thank you for your business. Have